Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Kieran, and this episode of Living with Intention is talking about one of the best ways to start your zero waste journey and go zero waste or start to reduce your waste. Now, we live in this throwaway culture where people just buy something, consume it, and throw whatever they don't need, or when they're done with something, throw it in a bin. And as soon as it enters that bin, it is gone. It is part of that black sack. It is out of sight, out of mind, and most of us don't even give it a second thought what we're putting into the bin. And this isn't just on a personal level. We see this even on a macro level with governments. In the UK, 2/3 of our plastic waste is exported, shipped to other countries where it's cheaper to recycle, and also it goes to increase our recycling targets and show that we have recycled. But in actuality, as we have found out through reports, is that this waste is often not recyclable because it's in such bad quality. And Sky News did a report a while back where they found waste in Poland that was supposed to be recycled, that had been certified as recycled, but was sitting in a site where it wouldn't be recycled and where it would actually end up going to landfill because the quality of the material was so bad. And we're seeing the response of this is countries that we were sending our waste to are now no longer accepting waste because of the quality of it. It can't be guaranteed to be recycled, so they don't want it. And we need to stop shipping our problem to other countries. And yes, a lot of waste issues, especially plastic waste, do revolve around governments and corporations and them taking action, not shifting the responsibility onto the consumer when, the real culprit of this waste is the system we live in, is the corporations and the governments. But that doesn't mean that we can't take action and we can't look at our own consumption and what happens to the things we consume. And this is happening more and more. If you look at David Attenborough's Netflix series, all the other documentaries he's been doing, the more they've been addressing sort of plastic pollution and maybe climate change, the more we're getting people discuss it, think about it. The amount of people using reusable bottles, the amount of people using reusable straws, all these sorts of things is increasing. Kids are talking about it, parents are talking about it, people are talking about it, old, young, doesn't matter. People are talking about it, which is awesome, because they're starting to make that connection because they've been shown these incredible sites and they're making that connection to them and the waste that is created and where it is going. And the cool thing about this is it makes you feel empowered. It makes you feel like the actions you are taking do have an impact. We can lobby companies and we can lobby governments, but actually taking personal impact makes you feel empowered. And one thing that you can do if you don't really know where to start is get involved in a zero waste challenge. And there is one coming right up this February called Futuristic February, set up by Sustainable Duo. It is awesome. Come get involved. What it is a month where you live normally and collect all the waste that you produce in that month, all the non-perishable waste, and you collect it. By the end of the month, you see what you produce, and you times that by 12, you know how much waste you produce in a year pretty much. You know what you're consuming, where the waste is coming from, and from that awareness, you can then start to act. And actually, that is where another challenge called Minimize March comes in, which is something I'll be running, and you can turn that awareness into action. But I'll talk about that at the end of the episode and at the end of next month. So come back to hear more about that if you want to. But it's so important to collect our waste, to have this awareness. When you see it in front of you, it's quite shocking. You can't really understand where it all comes from. You start to be like, is that how much I'm producing? And it's that connection that opens our eyes to how much we're producing, the impact we are having, and that is powerful and can then start to be a catalyst for change. There is a quote from the zero waste chef, Anne-Marie Bonheur, which says, "We don't need a handful of people doing zero waste perfectly. We need millions of people doing it imperfectly." So come get involved, share your journey on Instagram, share it on YouTube, share it wherever you want. Tag Sustainable Duo, tag myself, message us. Let us know how you're going on your journey. And just, go out there, be honest with yourself, collect it, and then you can start to be aware of the impact you are having and start to reduce it. But this is such an incredible way to start any zero waste or low impact journey. Such a good way to have an understanding of waste in general and what you can do to have a more positive impact and reduce your impact on the environment. And remember, don't beat yourself up. Some people have been doing zero waste for a long time or low waste living, and they've got it down a bit better than most of us have. But what you can do is just small actions over time and you will eventually get there. Because if you try and take it all on at once, it will be so overwhelming. But there are certain things that you can do. For example, buy water bottles, reusable straws, tote bags, all these sorts of things. And I can share more of that in Futuristic February. When you're collecting it, you might not be wanting to show this much, but be honest with yourself and then you can start to change. Don't beat yourself up as well. we live in a society, like I said, a throwaway society, a society of consumption, and we are part of that. You cannot be zero waste. You can just reduce the amount of waste you produce and put into the system, but the system ultimately is why there is so much waste. So don't beat yourself up. Know that it's a system, but know that your individual actions are positive, are having an effect, and every action that you take does matter. So come join us, take part in Futuristic February. Leave a comment below if you're gonna take part and let me know how you're feeling about it. Also, come back in, drop back in at the end of the month to my episode, which will be on Minimize March, and I can bring that up and we can talk more about the action after the awareness. But stay up to date with my journey on Instagram. I'll be putting up videos there. And yeah, share your journey with me, drop me some DMs and let me know how you're finding it. But anyway, I hope you have an awesome week. I hope you're gonna get involved. It would be amazing to have you along for the journey, making conscious and intentional changes to your lifestyle to reduce your impact on the environment. That's awesome. So come join in and yeah, thank you to everyone who is gonna get involved. But have an amazing week. Have a good start to Futuristic February and I'll see you next week. Right, have a good one. Peace.